What you doing, Rob and Elsie?
Hey Mandy, we're actually working with Cody from Vince, which is a virtual fence company, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to put our station.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit farther.
Where are we at?
So there's Washington.
Yeah.
So just all down here is where we're trying to cover. Yeah, so right now we're running an RF plan, essentially what that tower can give off as far as coverage that allows the callers to communicate back to the tower, which then we can see on the back end on our platform. So we're just going through a couple possible different sites to make sure we get the most coverage of the ranch.
The station has a range of about 5 miles and can communicate with the callers anywhere within that range. Virtual Fence allows for the movement and monitoring of cattle directly from your smartphone or computer by using advanced GPS tracking. Once the collars are placed on the cattle, the collars send out a GPS signal contacting the base station and receive updates on where the cattle should be. Virtual Fence will have many benefits here at the Cheyenne Bottoms Preserve. Cattle serve as a management tool to create a patchwork of vegetation heights and densities to provide a range of habitat conditions for shorebirds and grassland birds. The use of Virtual Fence will take the management of these 3,200 acres to the next level. Using Virtual Fence, cattle will be concentrated in certain areas, allowing for the control of invasive species, the creation of short vegetation for shorebird habitat, and allow for areas of little to no grazing for grassland bird nesting. Right now we are looking at Herd Manager, and this is the platform that we use to manage our cows. So as you can see on here, you can see where all of our cattle are at. This yellow line here is where our virtual fence is at, and so when the cows approach this, they get an auditory sound. And as they go further, they get a shock. This system, we will be able to move the cattle in about a month up north, up here, and the virtual fence will then move this way. With Herd Manager, we can also look at the grazing patterns of the cattle. So this is showing the 190 head moving around on the screen. And a couple of cool things, right here you can see that they were really concentrating there, and that is where one of our water tanks is at. And you can also see that there is a bare spot right here, and that is a wetland basin that has prairie cordgrass, and cattle don't really like to eat that. With also being able to see the entire herd and how they're moving, you can also track a single cow. And this is over a week.
One of the great benefits of us using virtual fence is we can actually start taking out cross fences in the pastures, such as this one here. And one thing about this particular fence is it actually runs through a marsh, and that's just terrible for wildlife. You actually see we have these little markers on here. These are kind of the collision avoidance markers, so the birds can see that fence better. But in addition, this fence runs along the marsh and it's starting to fall in. What we want for wildlife, particularly grassland birds, is wide open pastures. Another benefit of virtual fencing is we won't have to maintain this fence once it's gone. And in fact, we don't have to put as much maintenance and time checking the fences where we have virtual fence even when there's a hard fence, because the cows will not go up against them. So That's going to save us a lot on time and money, and start creating more open pastures and taking out fences that run through our wet areas. This is our herd that has the virtual fence program going on. So 190 of the cows out there have the collars. This cow over here, according to the ear tag it has, is actually the one that we showed on the computer her activities over where she was traveling. Where I'm standing here is another fence. This is the boundary fence. So there, from here on out, the virtual fence is in place, and basically she's sitting probably or laying right outside of where that virtual fence is. This will be another cross fence that we'll probably take out over time. And then what's also neat in the future, when we have these fences out, like the road behind us, Elsie could put a line down here and keep the cows from going on the road, even though there's no fence. So it's going to help maintain our roads better with no cattle traffic, no cross fences for us to maintain, open it up for wildlife, and even we have a cattle guard over there that we'll be able to take out. So in the long run, this is going to save us on a lot of time and energy.